Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is joining with us today for the Scottish Summit. I'm Kasim Patirana and I'll be talking about Magical Power Platform with D365 FinOps. So let's get started. Really thankful to the amazing sponsors who are sponsoring the Scottish Summit, especially Scriptrunner, the DQ Global, Proximo 3, Redspire, Agilicis, and Hitachi Solutions. Without these great sponsors, this summit wouldn't have been possible. So we are really thankful and really appreciate on the sponsors. So let's move into the next slide. Bit of introduction about myself. I'm Kasum Patirana and I'm Dynamics 365 and Power Platform evangelist. I works at DXC Technology as a consultant. I started my journey in Microsoft Business Applications from Dynamics AX, if you have worked with the Dynamics AX, and also have working experience with the Dynamics 365 FinOps as well for products over 9 years. And I've got the opportunity to work with both ERP and CRM space. So I've dealt with many of the D365 products. And also, I've got the opportunity to involve with the Power Platform implementations as well. So that is also a really great um, help for me on improving my knowledge on these areas. And I do also blogging as well using D365bits. So if you want to find me, you can find me in d365bits.com. And I'm also heavily involved with the community events as well. So if you want to find about me or if you want to get involved in the community, you could definitely find me there. And I'm a Microsoft MVP as well. I've been recently awarded the Microsoft MVP as well. So there's a bit about myself, and also I've liked to play cricket and running as well as hiking as well. So these are my interest areas. So that's a bit about myself, and let's get started with the agenda. So let's look at the agenda. So this is the agenda I'm gonna walk through on the session. Magical Power Platform, D365 FinOps and Dataverse, and then next comes with the D365 FinOps and Power BI, and we'll touch upon some demos as well along the way, and also a bit about D365 FinOps and Power Automate, and then D365 FinOps and the Power Apps, and next is D365 FinOps and Power Virtual Agent. So basically, we will be going through all these areas as well as demos as well, so that you can get an understanding on what are the possibilities within the Power Platform and the D365 FinOps area. So without further ado, let's go into the next slide. So let's look at the magical Power Platform, right? So let's do some magic and find out some of the components that magical Power Platform have, right? And first of all, let's look at what is Power Platform. Power Platform basically is a single low-code development platform for Microsoft across Office 365 and Dynamics 365, Azure, and your standalone business applications. It has four major products: Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents. And we should also be mentioning about the Dataverse part of it, and AI Builder and data connectors too. So let's look at what are these and what can help, what are these things can help us, how it can help us. Basically, so it's easy to work with Power Platform, right? And definitely you will feel that you're working with Legos when you're working with the Power Platform. It's that easy. And also it's very much given lots of graphical tools to drag and drop and use for the development. So it feels very easy for you to learn and very easy for you to get to get yourself familiarized with this kind of a products, because it's really graphical interface that helps you to easily learn this kind of a platform. And it also uses kind of formula expressions, and if you want to extend the solutions, you can actually utilize the pro developer codes as well. So there's lots of capability within the Power Platform. You can create really complex solutions, you can create really simple solutions without doing the coding. So that's really amazing part of the Power Platform, because it's easy for you to learn and achieve what you want to achieve from this kind of a platform. So that's really the essence or the important part to identify and understand. And Power Platform has immensely helped many organizations around the world, and it helps them to be efficient, and it helps to remove repetitive tasks and automate some of their tasks. So it's not only about automating, but it's kind of giving you proper solutions to your problem, but it helps on improving the efficiency. It helps on removing your repetitive task, and it really helps you as a business to use the Power Platform. Is actually no brainer. It's a really wonderful tool to have. And to more on this kind of a platform, that you can understand that it also helps that subject matter experts to do the domain driven designing, which benefit immensely to the business, because subject matter experts can go to the Power Platform and they can start build their own or build applications which will be really vital and useful for the businesses as well. So that is really important, because subject matter experts within the businesses can create really um, a good applications easily, because you can learn Power Platform easily, so that the subject matter experts get these to access to these tools and products, and then they can create wonderful applications that can help your business. So that is the important part, and that is the magic about this Power Platform. Let's move into the D365 FinOps and Dataverse. So first, let's look at the data integrator. What data integrator helps us, and why do you need the D365 FinOps and Dataverse? What are the options that we have, and how we can help the FinOps as well, like what you can do with that. So the data integrator helps in point-to-point asynchronous integration, and it is uh, that is the most important part of the dual integrator. It helps in the point-to-point asynchronous kind of integrations. And if you talk about the next areas is the virtual entities. So the virtual entities, you have your FNO data in the common data service, like you also have like CRUD capabilities, or create, read, update, delete capabilities are added to that. And then you also have the dual write. The dual write is another option that it tightly coupled, and it's a bi-directional, and it's a near real-time kind of integration that you can get. And also you got industry accelerators that also helps as different industry specific components to help you to build vertical solutions quickly. So that's the important part of having the industry accelerators. So let's get in a bit deep into the data integrator. So if you talk about the data integrator, you have prospect to cache kind of integrations like sales and products, contacts, sales codes from CE or the customer engagement, and orders from customer engagement, and then invoices in F&O. So this is kind of a prospect to cache kind of integration that you can get from the data integrator. And then you have also field service integration as well. So in that you have like accounts, products, work orders, invoices, agreement invoices. So these are some of these field service integrations or the capabilities that you have from the data integrator. And it also have these mappings as well and the connection sets as well. So that's really vital because you have that kind of prospect to cache integration as well as the field service integrations which comes with the data integrator. So that's the part that you need to understand. And virtual entities really benefit, and then it actually it's not copying the data, but basically it will be creating the data is not copied, but data will be accessible, and then you can actually use full CRUD or create, read, update, delete um, capabilities there with the virtual entities, and it's a no code, low code kind of a solution, and you can create power apps, create power automate flows, and create power automate power virtual agents as well using the virtual entities. So that's really important. And finance and operations is virtual data source in the Dataverse actually, Dataverse service, and that enables the full create, read, update, and delete capabilities. So that's the important part of it actually. And then when you talk about the dual write, it actually tightly coupled near real-time bi-directional kind of integration, and data was automatically flow. The common data is actually automatically flows to the Dataverse, and it's kind of a no code, low code principle that it actually helps you on that part. And it has the capabilities of online and offline mode as well. So that's really wonderful. And then you have industry accelerators. The industry accelerators are, if when we talk about industry accelerators, there are manufacturing, automotive, insurance, banking, healthcare, higher education, non-profit. So there are lots of industry accelerators, and it also includes the data model and has the sample apps, sample portals, and dashboards as well. And if we take manufacturing, this has data model, sample portal, sample apps, and dashboards as well. And you can also create the Power Apps portals as well, like customer portal, supply chain management. So what you can do is you can expose your data using the virtual entities, and then you can expose it to the customer portal, and then let your customer access those information, that necessary information, customer, or it could be external facing or internal facing. So it depends on the requirement. So basically you can create the Power Apps portals and expose the data entities to the customer portal, and then you can give that facility to the users easily because of the help of the common or the Dataverse actually. So that's the most important part for us to identify here. Let's look at business intelligence with Microsoft Power BI. So let's look at the Power BI. So Power BI is embedded directly into the user experience basically, and it enables your organizations to deliver the insights to the right people based on their roles through analytical workspaces. And Power BI can leverage the core transactional data. It also surfaces through Azure Data Lake. So there's new capabilities coming through. So you have the Azure Data Lake. you have the capability of exposing, bringing your data to the Azure Data Lake. So there are lots of features coming in, and some of them are in previews. So you could have a look at all those capabilities. I'm not gonna elaborate more on that, but there are lots of features actually. And at the same time, it means that you can deliver insights, right, to the multiple applications beyond finance and supply chain management, or within one dashboard. Because if you have data in Azure Data Lake, basically you can bring data from ERPs, and then you can bring data from the CRM, or if you have any legacy data, you could bring all these data. And if you want to run a AI model, you could do that. So there's lots of capabilities, lots of possibilities that opens up with the Power BI part of the magic that it brings to the Dynamics 365 FinOps. And having the Azure Data Lake, it also helps that you can minimize your costs. So there's various benefits. It's coming up with the Microsoft Power BI and D365 FinOps. So watch out this space. There's a lot coming, and there's a roadmap which Microsoft also describes on the movement on the to the Azure Data Lake. And there's a lot coming in this space, so watch out for that. And D365 also, I have to talk about previously that it has the entity store, which is in operational data store, that it included with the D365 FinOps, and it has aggregate measurements, and those are actually a star schema that is modeled for analytical scenarios. And if you work with the FinOps, you are probably aware of that you can pin tiles to the workspaces, and there are capabilities that you can go, and if you have the right access, you can go and edit the existing Power BI reports. So whatever the data sources there, you can use those data sources, and you can build your report on top of what the standard report gives you. So that is really uh, that feature is also there. So that's another thing. And let's look at some demo now on with Power BI. So let's move into the first demo. So let's look at this scenario. So this here, we will go through on the finance and operations, and we're gonna look through the locations screen. So this is the location screen. So we're gonna filter the location screen based on the warehouse. So we'll have the warehouse value 24, and then we're gonna filter for the zone ID as well. So this is kind of an example. It will be filtered for the flow. So there's a few records here, and you can see only two uh, locations have done the last cycle count. So if you want to build a report to identify based on the zone, which zone that has been counted, and total number of bins 12, and uncounted number of bins are 10 because only 2 has been counted. So this is a simple report which gives you counted bin analysis, right? So this is kind of an example for you to extend, or to give you an idea on Power BI. So you could basically create some reports, you know, to help your businesses based on your requirement, based on the requirement. And this is kind of an example, just to elaborate on that point. And let's move into the Power Automate, and let's look at the Power Automate magic with the D365 FinOps. So Power Automate can be used with the Power Apps, and you're able to read, write, edit, or delete the records. And also there's options for you to use the business events to trigger workflows within the Dynamics 365 finance and operations, or create action activities in the Power Domain. And business events, there are various business events. There are various business this business catalog as well. So you could look example like sales orders. If you perform invoices, then you can actually send an email using the business event. So you can look at that example as well coming up. So let's look on a demo to get that concept, and let's see what are the capabilities within this Power Platform with Power Automate and D365 FinOps. Okay, let's move into the sales agreement screen. So we are looking at the sales agreement screen here. So this is basically creating a sales agreement header creation in this example. And I will show you how you can use manual trigger flows. So basically, this is a manual trigger flow, and you can manually trigger the flow and create uh, the sales agreement header. So basically, you have the currency, sales agreement classification, and the client, and then you can actually create when the flow has been successfully run. If you go back and refresh the system in the FinOps, you will see that new record is already added in the system. And this is really helpful if you are like checking. This is a neat little trick if you want to check some power domains before building a complex flow. You could test and see what are the fields and what are the things that you need to update in the flow. So this is a quick way of doing it, and understanding what are the field values and what you need for the flow to be work properly. In the example of if you're using the flow with the power apps to trigger, so the power apps will pass some information, and then you'll trigger the flow so that you can actually um, run this kind of flow, manual flow, and identify what values you need to pass from the power ups. And that's a good way of that's a good trick, a neat little trick. And I was talking about the business events earlier. So this is an example on the business events, and this will be another demo which will be on the business events. So let's look at the business events scenario. So we have a sales order here, and it's in the delivered status if you see. And what I'm gonna do here is go and show you the business events here. So in the business events, we have the sales orders. Invoice is created when you create an invoice from the sales order. That it can trigger that we can utilize the business events and trigger and send an email. So that's the part I'm going to show here. So you can see that endpoint has been uh, already created. And then what we do here is we will invoice the sales order. Once you do the invoicing, let's look at, you click OK. So you perform, you'll complete that invoicing part. So once you complete that invoicing part, actually, because we have the Power Automate to Power Automate configured to utilize that business events, then it actually activates because the business event already triggered because there's an endpoint, and then it'll trigger an email and send this hi team, the sales order number, this has been invoiced, invoice number is this, and the invoice amount is this. So this is what you can actually this is how it looks like. So you can have the business event occurs, you can pass the JSON and then get a condition, and then if you can say yes and no, and if it's yes, then you can actually get the record and send an email notification. So that's really powerful in that sense, what you can do with that. And let's look at another example. Let's look at the Power Apps magic with the D365 FinOps. So let's look into that part. So basically, we have the Power Apps magic with the D365 FinOps. So why you need the Power Apps? So maybe you'll be asking why you need Power Apps. Basically, what kind of scenarios? So it could be a scenario you need your mobile workers to enter or update records in D365 FinOps in the event, or it could be an event you need to combine your data with another external source. Example, like if you need to get web service to check and verify the VAT numbers, or it could be a label generator which you want to randomly generate some labels, or you probably have like manual batch numbers running in the system, and then you probably need to way to print out these labels as well. So you could actually utilize the Power Apps for to kind of help you on that. And then I was earlier talking about the portals as well. So the portals can be exposed to the external and internal, so that is also another way of you know getting the features actually to help on different kind of scenarios that you have in the FinOps and based on your business need. And so you have that you have like you can use Canvas apps as well for task focused specific applications. And then if you have like if you want to use model driven applications, you can use model driven applications. This is a component driven method using the app building components such as maps and charts, dashboards, entities, and business process flows. So uh, the security will be role-based security and role-level security. And you also have the Power Apps portals as well. I was talking about earlier. So let's look at some demos on this part. So this is an example of generating a label image for the Power App. So we are using the batch screen. So in FinOps, we are in the batches screen, and we just open that is a PL label generator. So that's the beauty, is you can actually embed or you can put in these applications inside, so it's easy. So you don't need to change or switch screens. You could run these applications of the Power Apps within the FinOps, because you can embed, attach these applications inside. So what it does is, if you select the batch number or an item, and then you can select that batch number, and then if you want to generate the image, so this is how it's going to generate. But if you want to print out, there are ways that you can print it out utilizing the standard feature, utilizing the standard features, as well as some part probably you might need to customize in order to facilitate that printing part and utilize that standard to help. But this is basic understanding on what kind of scenarios that it can help you in terms of PL labels. That's one of the examples. And let's look at another example here. So in this case, we're using actually this is actually the customer's screen here, and then we can go to the context. So if you see there's no context, in the businesses you get to get a lot of business cards. So this is an example. You capture the business card, you select the client, you get a business card when you're meeting that the customer or that person, and then you can scan that business card. And then if you want to edit anything, you can go back and edit the captured name, last name, and the email and the company, all those details, and then you can save it back to the FinOps, so that it straight away goes back and update the context, because behind the scene it'll run a Power Automate, and that Power Apps actually help you to capture all the part. And then AI Builder is another part which actually helps in this uh, process for you. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this systems on the Power Platform part, as well as the FinOps. So it helps, it makes you easier, it helps you. These are some of the examples, some of the examples for you to broaden your thinking, and apply these kind of utilize more Power Apps and the Power Platform with the FinOps, right? Now let's look at another scenario here. This will be a scenario which we have like a sales order here, and let's say we want an customer feedback from the customer for that sales or the particular sales order. So we have this application. We run that customer feedback app. So we'll probably maybe running this for the new customers only. So that gives you an option if there's a new customer or existing customer. So you can choose here new or new customer here, yes, then you can email. Otherwise, if it's not a new, then you would need, depends on your scenario. So in this example, if only for the new um, customers that the feedback form will be sent, and then get their feedback and see how we are doing with that client. So this is from the client side, that the client will get an email, dear valuable customer, and this is the link, and please go and provide us some feedback, and that's the customer satisfaction survey. And then they can go back and give us the satisfaction ratings, and then this will be flowing back to the database and runs through the text analytics, and then it gets you the sentiment analysis, and from the sentiment it can detect whether it's a positive or a negative, and then based on positive negative, then you can go back and contact the client. So there's various things you can do with this kind of a with the the platform that you get with the Power Platform. So that's why it's really magical, because there's a lot of capabilities that's there with you. So that's another example that can bring in. And then once you get that customer satisfaction survey filled in, it'll go. So this is actually the flow that's being used here. So you get that response details, detect the sentiment, right? And then once you get that sentiment, let's probably stop on that area. So we see that when you have a new response submitted, you get that the response you apply to each, and you get that response details, detect the sentiment, create a new record, and you have that condition, and you can then take any actions. In this case, you can post a message to the teams to see that you have a positive or a negative feedback based on the sentiment that you get. So it depends on what kind of formula, the logic that you run, what kind of the conditions that you give into the flow. And the other part is it will go back to the database, and inside the database you will get you can create some tables inside the database. And once you create that tables inside the database, and basically you have that field which can give that sentiment. So in this case it's a positive sentiment, and that's the part here. Let's look at the Power Virtual Agents magic with the D365 FinOps. So the Power Virtual Agents, you can build your own chatbots with the no code. So that's what you can do with the Power Virtual Agents, and you're able to improve the customer and the user experiences by using Power Virtual Agent. And you will not be able to you know you will not be able to have like 24/7 any to have someone to chat all the customer queries and stuff like that. So you could definitely get the help of the Power Virtual Agent, because you'll have 24/7 365 days. You can have the Power Virtual Agents running and helping you to answer customer queries whenever, wherever they're coming from, and you can automate the most of the customer queries. And if you really still need to touch upon the virtual, the physical agent, and then you can tap onto the physical agent, and then you can get the help of the physical agents through the virtual agent. So there's lots of capabilities within the Power Virtual Agents with the D365 FinOps as well. The great thing about the Power Virtual Agent is that it can actually learn and improve as well. You can apply the LUIS as well, like custom experiences provided by the PVA. You can improve with integrating to the LUIS, right? So you could have LUIS to improve, and it can learn from the experience, and that's really wonderful. And then you can get a better experience for the customers, and you can create that best service because you have someone to answer the customer queries 24/7, and then customer is happy. And if you really want that agent to step in and take over the question, and then you can have that options as well, so that really helps, and it reduces the load from the agents, and then the virtual agent helps the agents to give better service back to the clients, right? And you might be wondering on LUIS. LUIS is actually language understanding intelligence services if you haven't heard about it, and you can improve the virtual bots and virtual agents use of the LUIS as well. And for an example, in the entities you would have like age, and when you have the bot asking questions, how old are you? Then you might be answering as 19 years, or maybe hi, I'm 19 years. So there has to be a way to identify the numerical value from that, because it's a conversational, right? It's a conversation, and then it has to know, it must pick up that that value, whether that numerical value from that conversation. So it's smart enough to identify by the machine learning methods and stuff like that. So it's really have that AI capability in that to understand and get that numerical value and then update it. And we could have some examples, we could have some demos to look at on explaining on that concept on how you can get the help of the Power Virtual Agents, and where you can utilize that feature. So let's look at a demo, and let's go to the demo. So in this example, we have a sales order, and we have deliveries confirmed. Ship date is 5/11. That is a 707 sales order, and that's a 5/12/2020. That's the other the sales order. So you have a couple of sales orders, and let's look at what we can do from the Power Virtual Agent. Let's say hi on the Power Virtual Agent, and then the version will be replying here and then giving us some options. Please select the service that you want. So in this case, I'm gonna select the confirm ship date because I want to see that confirm ship date on that sales order. And then it asks, please provide the company code, in this case USMF, and you could have different authentications, you could have various authentications helping, but this is like a simple example, just providing the company code, but that will not be the one which when you apply into the real case bills, then real cases, then you will be having proper authentications, and you can provide the sales order number. So once you provide the sales order number, then it will give you the confirmed ship date, and you want to inquire, do another inquiry, then you can say yes, please select from the below options, and then you give the confirmed ship date. That would be the option, and it'll ask you select that company code again, USMF, and please provide your sales order number. So it's asking the sales order number, that's the 707 in this case, and it should give us the 5/12/2020, right? And do you want to do another inquiry? You say no. Did that answer your question? Yes, and it answered my question. And then you can rate your experiences. Some of the features are coming from the standard itself, and some of them are you can add. You can use Power Automate to get that activities, actions. So you can make it more smarter by using the Power Automate. and then it will say thanks for chatting with me and bye. So there's a kind of a good conversation. So in cases like if that the questions are not here, so you could probably possibly put it back to back the physical agents, and the physical agent could take it over, and then they could possibly use to help that client, because that the virtual agent might not be able to answer all the queries. So there will be some queries that has to go to the agent, and then the agent will be looking after that. But the load from the agent will be less, and then they could possibly focus on different aspects of the business and improve those things. Whereas you can continue to give bit load onto the Power Virtual agent, and the agent will be handling those activities, so that helps them and helps the business as well. And also it improves the experience of the customer, because you don't need to have somebody to answer your queries 24/7. You don't need to have physically have someone to answer 24/7, because you can have the Power Virtual agent to step in and help that situation. And let's look at some of the resources that I've been using. So there are some resources that you can access on the Business Application Summit, and some of them from the Docs Microsoft, and then some of these steps and all those all those like Power Virtual agents, which we see now, and creating the business events, those and the business cards. So these are actually written down, documented on how you can do these, within FinOps. So you can have a look on these resources, and if you have any questions or anything like that, you could definitely get back to me and ask from me if you have anything especially on anything on those topics and stuff like that. And then you can scan the QR code if you want to go to my YouTube channel or the website. So both will be having the D365 bits, so you could definitely find me in the there. And also, if you want to find me in LinkedIn, I think I've provided earlier, so you could reach to me. I'll be more than happy to help you if you have any queries or questions and stuff like that. And that that will be that's more on the resources part, what I have on that on here. And let's thanks everyone on attending and joining my session today, and hope you're having a great time in the Scottish Summit. And please do connect with me, and if you have any questions, please reach to me in LinkedIn. And with that thought, I'll be leaving you guys, and hope you have a wonderful Scottish Summit. And really thank for the sponsors, as well as the organizers and everyone who has been involved in this massive conference. And it's been a real pleasure to present in this Scottish Summit. And really thank you to everyone, and see you again. Bye.